On my screen, I'm showing up pretty good.
It is about that time again for a phenomenal, powerful, informative show on Ready, Set, Real Estate. I'm so hyped today, y'all. I am so hyped. I think I'm hype all the time, so there's no excuse, but I really enjoy when I get to bring industry professionals and colleagues to the show to build together. You know, people love to kind of seem like we're out here trying to get a piece of the pie, but I really love to say that we're all bakers, we're all creative, we're all innovators, we're entrepreneurs, we're business owners, and we are supporting one another in what we are doing, providing services, providing solutions to our clients, and being resources to one another and how we can continue to build the empires that we seek to build for ourselves and our families. So I welcome Angelo Dickens II, Realtor partner from Remax Realty, to the show. Angelo, welcome to the show. How are you? Hold on, let me do that again. Here we go. Angelo, welcome to the show. How are you? I had you on mute.
I'm good. I'm having a good morning. How you doing this morning?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Forgive me. I had, we were coming in on the sound, I made sure I put you on mute because sometimes people are like talking while we're trying to record. It's like, wait, shh, we haven't started. We're starting.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm really excited about this topic because we definitely have a pool of people that are, wanting to negotiate our services, our money, counting our pockets because there's new platforms available now. And I just wanted to come on and build with you. You actually shared a post and really spawned, I think, a dialogue, which is really great. I love that we're creating content that spawns dialogue in the communities and the tribes that we have on social media. And I've watched your videos, and I like that you are about educating, empowering, providing information, and that makes me so happy. And you're actually in California. Let me say this, y'all, about Angelo real quick. Angelo and I connected. He didn't accept my offer. There's one guy that did not accept my offer.
you gotta be a little bit quicker.
Yes. How many hours? You said like 12, 6. It was like maybe 10 hours.
It was just literally just less than 8 hours difference between us catching the midnight train together. Yeah.
So yes, and people realize, and then people will learn why I'm quick to write it up, lock it in. I call the agents, we're negotiating, we're talking, and Angelo and I were building rapport over a transaction and a property that I must say, and I really wanted to, I think this is where we're going to segue. That property you were the listing agent, I was the selling agent, right? So for those of you who are not familiar with those terms, we like to keep it basic and simple on this show. So the listing agent represents who, Angelo?
The listing agent represents the seller.
Absolutely. And the selling agent, who I was representing, represents the buyer. And so I reached out to Angelo on one of his listings and saw he was paying 4% commission. I was like, yo, he liked that. Talk about incentive. I mean, yes. So Angelo, before we dive into just kind of how you got to that offering selling agent 4%, please share with us who you are, where you're from. I think you can tell it better than I can.
So I'm Angelo Dickens. I go by ABA Estates on social media. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, ABA Estates. I'm also on LinkedIn, just under my name.
Awesome.
I'm pretty much all about just progression and growing and just learning. Just kind of taking steps. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I
Ah,
moved out to California about 14 years ago.
wow.
Um,
Okay. So
I was
Ohio's in the building.
Yeah, I was in the military in the Navy, so I was stationed up in the Seattle area. So I decided to move down here and made the 20-hour drive down here. Who actually I knew a friend of mine that we grew up together in Cleveland. He had moved out here my senior year of high school. So
Mm.
I had already visited him a few times, and I kind of liked the LA scene. And I said, why not try to give it a shot since I'm already out on the West Coast, instead of moving all the way back home. Because you get in them situations where you like 10 years, 15 years later, you're like, oh, I wish I would have tried this or I would have done that. So I took the opportunity to do so. So been out here since.
That is amazing. I'm really happy to hear you say that because I think we probably do both see this in our business where people are saying, I might as well. And it really takes a sense of courage and a lot of support for people to make that step into investing in real estate because it's not cookie cutter. It requires resilience. It requires determination on our clients' end, even on sellers.
Yeah,
Sellers who first time sellers is what I'm noticing, especially in this market. We've dealt with a lot with the first time sellers, and they know what it's like on the buyer side. And when you're selling a property, it's a whole different experience. And so this is kind of where I wanted to talk about, for those who are considering selling for the first time and you are shopping agents, shopping real estate brokerages, what are some things that you are seeing in terms of the full service, like you mentioned, full service professional real estate brokerage and companies versus the online brokerages that we're seeing that kind of has made, I think, overall the industry feel like we're under siege. And I use that word because that's what it's coming off that way. And this week, actually look forward to seeing you. We're going to be in your area. Long Beach Car Expo is going to be happening next week.
oh
So
yeah, the reimagine thing.
the Reimagine Car Expo, and that's happening next week in Long Beach. And I anticipate this is going to be a dialogue that we're
You
going to
plan
be
on being
hearing about.
at the convention?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So share with us, and I think you have another listing. So as a listing agent and working with individuals, are you cutting corners? You cutting commissions? How are you distinguishing yourself in your business model with what we see happening with the online brokerages wanting to offer the low 1%, save on selling your home, whatever their taglines are. I'm not moved by it because I'm not a competitor with them because my
Okay.
business model is different. So I'm not offering discount commissions on my business because that's not my model, because I know what value we bring. So I wanted to talk with you about that.
I haven't really, as far as buyers, ran into people that are coming from like a Redfin or maybe some type of like a purple brick situation. I've met all my buyers just organically through open houses and either home buying seminars or different type of events that I put on personally, where I sponsor them. So I have shown buyers homes that have been associated with like a purple bricks or Redfin. I've met those agents. I have a friend who's married to a Redfin agent. My exposure to them in the industry is, I do know that essentially they're kind of like employees of that brokerage, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like online technological type of brokerage type of setup. You do occasionally get buyers who come across and are looking for an agent to give them some kind of rebate or refunds. Um, I worked with a client of mine who I actually did 4 deals with, and she was promised a rebate or refund from another agent she was working with, but he had lost her trust. And I actually
Mm,
met her at a home buying seminar of mine. She was invited by a coworker who I was kind of, working with, just trying to grow that business with that
right.
particular person. And so as we started kind of like looking at houses and stuff, she mentioned this to me about this $1,000 refund or rebate. And it wasn't something I was really stoked about, but I said, hey, you went through the trouble of contacting me after the seminar, and I want your business. And I was a newer agent, so I accepted the terms and I took them, and I think 3 out of 4 deals I gave her like $1,000 rebate. Um, and I'm not saying like if somebody like a buyer comes to me and they're like, hey, can you mind like if they need something and it genuinely like helps them out,
Right.
I don't mind being like open minded to it.
Right.
Like if we're battling with a seller and an agent over repairs, or if the buyer needs some certain amount of closing costs or something to help out to a
Right.
repair, and I'm contributing and the other agents contributing, the seller, that's a nice little mix. I don't mind doing that. Now, if you got people just coming up to me saying, hey, I want this, I want that. I mean, in a way, it is kind of discounting what we do, because I wouldn't go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee and be like, yeah, you know what? Let me get $1 off. I'm just in a discount kind of mood. I think
Right.
you have to just kind of take it, situation by situation.
Right. Right.
So I don't, just overall, I don't want to be a discount agent, but I understand when you're new at something, you probably don't have the courage or the confidence to stand up to that person and say no. But I think as you get more experience and you feel more confident in yourself and your abilities, you'll eventually get to the point where you'll stand firm. And you see that a lot of times.
Yes, I really want to just kind of build on that right there. Let's
Mhm.
say shout out to Amber Hardwood Dickens. She's in the building supporting. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to I wanted to build on that because yes, very important when you say the confidence is within that individual
Yeah.
agent professional to stand firm because when I was in the business, now this year made it 12 years. When I first started, it was taking on everybody, right? You want to take on everybody, and people are not really ready. And then not drawing the line. Where I am in my business is we do discuss what our commission level is. And
Mhm.
you touched on so many things that I really commend you for saying, because it's not necessarily about rebating or giving someone a discount when we're talking about we're full-time agents or full service brokerages. But you touched on if you need it to close a deal, you need it to help on the interest, right? Buy down the rate, help with your closing costs, because most buyers are not prepared to pay an additional 2.5% to 3%
Yeah.
in closing costs when they've been preparing and saving for 3% to 5% on their down payment. And repairs, negotiating repairs, right? Are you an agent that's flexible in doing that? Because I'm thinking in a discount model, if you're already discounting, there's going to be no room for negotiating any more credits.
Yeah.
Because that company, that agent is going to be so tapped for funds, there's not going to be any flexibility to help the agent, the client,
Mhm.
to get over the hump, especially when you look at transactions like, for instance, I had one that went 5 months pre-litigation.
Okay.
We kicked in to help our clients with repairs and get that deal done.
Yeah.
But after everybody's paid on, short-term rentals, attorneys, is there money in the pot to
Yeah.
get it done? If you're offering a discount, it's really concerning for me. So when you say that, I'm so glad that you're touching on being firm,
Mhm.
right? For me, I don't take everyone on as a client.
Yeah.
And I had to get my business, my level of confidence in investing myself to say, yeah, if this is not a right fit, I'm happy to refer you. I'll refer you to Angelo. No,
Hey, I'll take them, and but yeah.
right? Because sometimes personalities don't fit, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm probably where
And
you were 10 years ago. So
yes. And sometimes it's exactly that. And being honest and flexible with myself. And I'm happy to do that. I've
yeah.
definitely been happy to say to people, this is not a good fit. Especially because when we in our business, it's word of mouth. Like you said, I love that you said organic, meeting people organically, right? These are the things that you've invested in. And for those of you who are listening to thinking that we become like the ish or the it overnight is not overnight.
Yeah.
You know, you're building your book of business. It takes you doing the seminars and the workshops and the networking and putting yourself out there so that you're connecting with more people. The more people you know, the more money we make. We covered that on the last episode. So yes, I see all the people say yes. You're on the right track. Okay. And I really want people to hear this because it's absolutely important that we're connecting with people organically. Shout out to Victor Dean of Vault Mortgage in the building, one of our lender partners. Hey, Vic, thanks for, Vic is doing awesome things. And as a lender partner, are you with a team that is flexible to make credits and adjustments for your clients? See, online brokerages, like I said, this is not meant to bash, but it's to put full perspective for people when they're shopping or searching. And I think that's a good thing. Are we shopping or searching for agents? Yeah. Right? Are you shopping or are you searching for an agent? Because all my clients become an extension of me. I become family friend. Yeah. I just sold a client's daughter.
On a topic, actually, when I start talking about these online brokerages, it kind of relates to what you're saying right now.
Please go ahead, because I said we were going to just build on this today because it needs to be said. We were hearing everybody, and the clients feel like they're Zillow masters. They don't know. You mentioned Redfin agents. They think Redfin is an online search portal. No, it's actually a real estate brokerage.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it's so funny. It's so funny. So please, let's continue as we're building with full service and being able to provide that. What does that business model look like for us? And like I said, me personally, I'm not competing with online brokerages, right? Because where I meet our clients, 10 toes to the concrete.
Yeah.
In person, door to door prospecting. So share with us as you continue to grow your business, and are you seeing online brokerages a threat at all to what you're doing as you grow?
I look at it like this. Real estate is mostly driven by sellers. And as a real estate agent, you want to be a selling agent or a listing agent.
A listing agent.
That's the goal with longevity and experience. I understand that there's the pool of buyers out there is bigger than the pool of sellers.
Right.
There's a lot of houses in this world in the United States. I mean, but not everybody's selling their home. So there's always that fine line of supply and demand. Just, within the last year, the supply was low and the demand was high, and now you're starting to see the reverse. So it depends on what type of agent you want to be and what you want to specialize in and what just kind of naturally kind of comes to you. I would say that buyers in general are lured by money. So a buyer just by nature is always looking for a discount or a deal, whether it be on the actual property or if you have to give them some type of incentive as far as like, hey, I'll cut you a little something on my commission. Most agents, full service agents, aren't offering that. And nor should they be because that's our job. We are commission based, but how buyers are lured into this discount online brokerage type of situations is through money. So if you have a Redfin agent or a Purple Brick saying, hey, I'm going to give you a cut of my commission because I'm already employed by this brokerage. I'm not working off a commission. So whatever's being paid to me, hey, you can have 50% or you can have $1,000 or $2,000. That creates a motivation for the buyer. As far as a seller who doesn't want to save $10,000, $15,000 on saving their home, it puts more money back in their pocket. But you have to look at how far is that agent willing to go for you or break their neck or have your back when stuff hits the fan. If somebody's on a salary and they're not really sweating, hey, you know, I need to get this house sold because I have $10,000 or $15,000 on the line. How much are they going to go to war for you?
Mm.
How much are they going to defend you against the other side when an offer comes in? They're asking for the piggy bank, you know, and they want you to build them a brand new home, basically. So I think that's where those two business models are separated, like full service agents such as you and I. We have a little bit more incentive of helping the client because we get a commission from it, as to where online brokerages, they're using mostly technology and discounted service or discounted fees to lure sellers and buyers in. And their technology allows them to pretty much source out their own buyers. So their probably their end game is to bring their own buyer and own sellers together, which the equivalent of to you and I would be a dual agency.
Right. And we do see that. Actually, one of the, I believe Zillow has now bought over a mortgage company. So they already have a pool of buyers. They have a pool of sellers, right? The FSBOs, for sale by owners.
Yeah.
And the only component they were missing was the financing.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have really all hands, one hand in the pot and on all aspects of this. And then for me, I don't mind dual agency. We do dual agency as a brokerage, but I will put my real estate partner. I won't put my license on both deals because I think personally, I think there's a fine line between doing that with being really your best fiduciary agent for both parties.
It's difficult.
Right? It is, right? How do I battle myself on best price, best terms, right? When I know so much on both sides. So I actually do have fun when I bring on a realtor associate on a dual agency so that we can go up to bat together. Yeah. And then I know that we keep separate logs, phone call logs and separate emails. And it's not just all, it's a fine line in the Bureau, the Department of Real Estate. Really, if you new agents or renewing agents, pay attention when you're now renewing your license, they ask you how many deals have you double-ended.
Oh, okay.
They are scrutinizing how many deals you are double-ending.
Yeah. I've done 2 dual agent deals, and I'll be honest.
We love honesty.
Your loyalty is always going to be to who's paying your commission. Subconsciously, I mean, just because I'm a fair person, I can go to bat for the buyer and seller, but at the end of the day, if the buyer doesn't work out, if their funding falls through or if they cancel, your loyalty and your commitment is still to the seller.
Right.
So when it comes to trying to get a deal together, when you represent both sides, at the end of the day, you want to sell the house because you don't want to lose that listing. So in a way, you're kind of still you have favoritism for the seller, and it is very hard to separate the two and to make sure you're being fair for the buyer, but also making sure you get this house sold.
Right.
Like I said, you're probably going to travel or do whatever you need to do to follow this home and this owner. So if they say, hey, I want to cancel the listing and I want to wait, I want to put it on hold, I want to withdraw it, you're still going to be reaching out to them and saying, hey, are you ready? What's the problem? And you're going to do what you can to appease the seller, because the buyer at the end of the day just wants to buy the property, but the seller is who's paying your commission. A buyer, I mean, it's very rare that a buyer pays the agent's commission. So I know that's negotiable, but it doesn't happen very often.
It's all negotiable. I really am happy that you said that, because yes, the fiduciary duty, and I want to use those terms because as a platform to educate and empower our community with learning what this means, real estate terms and concepts, our fiduciary duty from a listing agent standpoint is to the seller first, even if you are double ending.
Yeah.
Right. But you definitely, actually, there's a case that just went through that on this transaction that was not dual agency, the listing agent also had fiduciary duty to the buyer. There's a case law now referencing this. I believe this finalized at the top of the year that now has made me change my conversation because of that. And so we have to be aware of this, that there is a fine line when you're feeling like you're advocating one party over the next, but you owe it to both sides. Loyalty, honesty, transparency and have that liability to them.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! I'm feeling this is heavy. I know. Shout out to Bruce Minna, who's a realtor partner. Bruce is a listing agent. You know, we're all listing agents. And like you said, the listing agents tend to be the employers of the industry,
Yep.
right? And let me explain that. So for those who are listening to us, shout out to those who are listening on the replay, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, and all the other great platforms. Thank you for growing our show. Thank you for supporting. I'm on, if you just tuned in, we're on with Angelo Dickens II. He's a realtor partner with Remax Realty. Oh, what area do you service? I didn't get to ask you that.
So my office is in Los Alamitos. If nobody is familiar with the area, it's kind of like at the very tip of Long Beach where it meets like Orange County. Myself, I service Anaheim, which is the next big city to where I live at, which is Buena Park. And then I also service Signal Hill, which is where I used to live at before I moved out to Orange County about 3 years ago.
Awesome. So you got to connect. If you reach out to me, I'll probably refer you to Angelo. Call me first and I refer you to Angelo so we can work out the referral fee.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, this is how it works, right? We support one another.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention as I was finishing my thought on being employers of the industry, which brings me back to the deal like you said, you didn't go with my offer, but it was a matter of 6 to 8 hours. The incentive was 4% commission. You were able to do that because as a listing agent, you are able to make those adjustments. Tell us about that. Share with us just kind of how you get to say, hey, I can take it upon myself and offer an increased commission.
So what happened with this particular property, it was the property you offered on at Compton House. I got an offer. Well, I actually did the open house on a Father's Day, and that following, that was on a Sunday. So Monday or Tuesday, I had 2 offers, and I did a multiple counter offer to both of them, and I got one party to come up above the asking price, and this particular one particular party didn't ask for closing costs, but the other did.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a multiple counter offer, and I said, okay, kind of like, best and final or setting, higher terms. So once I got someone to come up, I did a seller counter to them to make sure we were all clear that they weren't getting closing costs, because this particular offer was the one that didn't ask for closing costs. So after I served them the seller counter, they said, well, we're not getting closing costs. And I said, well, you never asked for it. And so I guess the husband was a little kind of hurt by that. But you guys made the offer and came up on your offer. So after a day or two, they said, you know what, we're probably not going to move forward. And they basically, there was actually, escrow was accidentally opened. I don't know why. I told them, hey, wait for me to get this seller multiple counter offer back, or seller counter offer back before you guys open, because I needed a signature. So they technically opened escrow. So because they didn't want to pursue the house, that was one canceled escrow. My second time, I had gotten an offer, put it back on the market. Probably within 3 days, I got another couple offers. So we just went with the list price, no closing costs. And they, after about 35 days, decided they want to cancel escrow. And for about a week, we kind of fought over the earnest money and the escrow the cancellation fees. So we finally agreed, and we decided, okay, you're gonna give up 50% of your earnest money, and we're going to divide the fees in half. So that was really a hurtful transaction, because it hurts to be in escrow about 40 days before you finally cancel.
Right.
So what I did at that point, I adjusted. I had already had the home was listed June. And at this point, we were already in August. So what I did, I took the market appreciation, I bumped up the list price, and then I told the seller, hey, let's go ahead and bump up the commission, because what you want to do is you want to create an incentive for the buyer's agent to really encourage looking at the house and putting in an offer. But what you do also with the increased list price is you account for the market increase in the market. But if there's any buyers out there that are kind of like hesitant about the price, that's why you create that incentive for the buyer's agent, because they're gonna really, if somebody's saying 4% for a house that's going for 415, I mean that creates an incentive. So their
I
agent
was
is like all
pretty
over it.
motivated. Let me.
Yeah. So and at that point, I also offered closing costs. So we went the total opposite way. Obviously, I still had a good product where I probably could have got list price without giving closing costs, but because the timing and there was another business move the seller were trying to make, I
Right.
said, let's go ahead, let's cut our losses. Let's go ahead and give in a little bit. I don't like to, say that, but I said at this point we've been on the market 3 months, not because of our own fault, but just that's how the clients see it. They see days on market, and all they're going to do is kind of come in and lowball you, and the agents are going to be, hey, you've been on the market for 50 days or whatnot. So I said, let's create an incentive. Let's do some closing costs. We'll advertise it in the actual description, $5,000. Let's bump up the listing price, because therefore you could afford to cover the closing costs and cover the commission. And even at that point, the listing price therefore becomes negotiable, because anything you get over your original asking price, and including the market appreciation, you're winning.
Listen to that, people. Hold on. Angelo said, dropped a real estate gem for you. Say it again. Anything you get
above list price, you're winning.
You set the benchmark.
Yeah.
And if you're getting above that, you're winning. Everything else is negotiable for flexibility, right? That client needs some closing cost credits. And we keep saying that a lot, especially in this market right now, where, we're kind of stabilizing right now. However, in a seller's market, and you have so many buyers competing, it's hard to get closing costs.
Yep.
It is hard to get closing costs. It is very difficult to get the credits. I am fortunate to say our team, have been successful in getting that for our clients. And at times, depending on, price and location, sometimes when buyers realize how it works as well, they come out to bat and write very strong offers as well, because you really got to know how the bottom line number works.
And where I see a lot of mistakes, and it's not bashing on listing agents, but where a lot of mistakes are, you're listing at market value or above market value, and then you're offering low commission. You're not creating any incentive for the agent to want to push your product on their buyer. If you're going to do that, then just bump up the list price and then bump up the commission.
Especially because, and that's right. And I mean, I'm moved right now to create this movement among each other. Yeah. But I mean, hey, professionally, we should be paying attention that this is how we earn our living, and this is a service we're providing, instead of undercutting one another.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that you can recognize that, hey, I signed an exclusive listing agreement, and in that agreement, it says you're selling it.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying if you're selling it, but if you have to work with a selling agent who's going to bring a ready, willing, and able buyer, you're willing to split your commission. Mm-hmm. So if the contract says that it's actually on you, you're supposed to be the one selling it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you put it on the MLS, you're opening it up to negotiation, which is, I will always negotiate my commission.
Yeah.
And my team knows this about me, that that's wonderful, whatever you put on the MLS. But if I know that we can get it done with a certain time, with the certain terms and conditions, I'm going to negotiate my commission. Absolutely. Yeah. Because you put it out there saying, hey, I'm willing to split it, because really the onus is on you when you took it at 6%, 6.5%, whatever you took it at. Mm-hmm. You said you were going to get it done.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So cool. I'm really glad that we're touching on this and just creating a culture of a dialogue, so that people can hear just kind of the industry professionals who are full service. And like I said, necessarily, if for us, it's not a compete. It's not this competitive world that we're experiencing. There are going to be tons of people that are going to come into the industry, tons of businesses that will show up. And again, this is why I posed the question: check your business model, check what type of service you're offering, and question that if you are salaried, are you fully vested in that client?
Yeah. Yep.
It makes a difference. And we see that all the time with customer service, and people are salaried. They're getting paid anyway, whether they, help you with your DMV paperwork or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, when I met you, me and the seller were at our weak point, but you can't show it. And that's why we created those incentives. We just wanted to get it done. I mean, they're very deflating experience. And yeah, we literally, you and I just met probably just overnight that we missed each other. Because what I actually had to do with that offer that we actually accepted and ended up closing on, not even a full day into escrow, they canceled. So I would have had three cancellations. I had to go back to them, and basically, they wanted a reduced purchase price, and of course we did the closing costs. So that, me as the agent, I took that upon myself to try to save a deal and reach out at that point without the seller's knowledge. I tried to broker a deal and an understanding in what they call cooperating agents. I tried to cooperate and say, hey, how can we get this done? We hashed out some stuff. He went back to the buyers and said, okay, if we do it for $410 with the closing costs, I think I had to increase the closing cost from $5,000 to $6,500. But that got it done, and I brought that back to the seller. So that is, as agents, we need to be doing that back room negotiating. So I don't want to go to have a third canceled escrow and be on the market even longer. So unfortunately for me, they caught me at my weak point, but I still persevered through the transaction and got it done.
Yeah. I don't necessarily would say it's a weak point. It's negotiation. It's negotiation, and it's you doing what it's providing a service.
Yeah.
It's providing a service and flexibility. And yes, we all want to come out on top. Yeah. However, the best deals is when there is 3 wins: seller, buyer, agents. I'll say 4 in the universe, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to win. And this is why there's a level of compromise, so that the buyer feels like, cool, I got something out of it, right? I love the home and I got a great price, or I got a credit, I got a reduction on, whatever the scenario is. And the seller feeling like, I didn't have to give in so much. I still met my net number to get it done.
Yeah.
Right. And we as agents, we feel successful because we're solution oriented, and we concluded the sale without anybody dying.
Yeah.
Unless you're in probate, you're already dealing with, people already transitioned. And so everyone lives happily ever after. And that was a scenario. I just sent that email yesterday on a deal that we closed. And I said, and it all worked out happily ever after, even though we were at each other's throats over move out dates, extending escrows. I love this. I love this deal. I really encourage so much success in you. Let's do a deal together, and let's do another. Let's do another. Any last remarks you want to leave with our listening and viewing audience?
I mean, I had a wealth of knowledge about these brokers and these kind of like online type of situations. I mean, you got the instant offers out there too, where Zillow and
I want to hear it. I mean, I want to hear it. Look, I'm open for it. I just want to make sure that, one, I'm respecting your time, because I can talk. This is like my day off where I get to jump on and do my show.
Yeah.
And I want us to really hone in on people that, do your research, read the fine print. And like you said, what is it that you're looking for? Because when you're going online shopping, you're essentially, you're looking for a deal, right? And I love that you said the psychology of a buyer is to look for a deal.
Yeah.
And that's a trade-off, I think, right? That does come with a trade-off.
Yeah, it does.
So, go ahead.
Oh yeah, just kind of preparing for the show. like I said, I kind of haven't had too much exposure to these two business models with the instant offer programs and the online brokerage, but I definitely want to kind of just get myself informed, so that people out there can learn, because this type of knowledge actually can help the agents out there as well as the buyers and
Right.
sellers.
And
Um, if, as a realtor, we get this magazine called Realtor Magazine. So if you guys look out for this month's edition, it's called September October Realtor, and it's actually talking about the same stuff that I'll mention. But that article is like really enlightening. But basically, the purpose of these instant offer programs is what they say to speed up and simplify and take out the inconvenience, basically, and they're insinuating to the agent to take out the buying agent and a listing agent and make it more convenient for the seller, as to where programs like Zillow. So these are specific programs. Zillow offers, Redfin Now. There's a program called Knock, OfferPad, and Open Door. These are all instant offer programs where all you gotta do is at the click of a button, you hit them up on their website and you say, hey, this is my address. Maybe I think maybe including some pictures and some description. They'll come back to you within a day or two and give you an instant offer, and it's up to you if you want to take it or not. But it comes at a condition of they're going to want to profit on the resale of this house. So they're probably not going to give you market value. They're going to come in at a little lower market value. They're going to require you make a bunch of repairs. And just with anything that you think is good or any kind of new business out there, there's always going to be pros and cons. So yeah, the pros will be the efficiency and the speed, I guess. But you don't know, there's a whole, just like with, in a contract, there's fine print. There's going to come other conditions that you're not going to see. To you, it just looks like a pot of gold, initially. But once you get in that transaction, it's probably not going to be exactly what, it was made out to be. And then, as far as the online brokerages, you got Rex, which is kind of operating more on a like artificial intelligence type of technology, where they supply their own buyers and sellers. Basically, it's all inclusive. You got Purple Bricks, which they provide agents, but the agents are working for them. And again, with these are all technology driven companies. Some of them have, employed agents. You have Home Smart. The only one that really kind of is real similar to like what you and I do is like Redfin. They use technology, but what they do, they offer, of course, the 1.5% selling fee to the sellers, and I think they give buyers a partial refund of the agent's commission because they are employees, they get paid from the seller. Like that. So if a Redfin home is not listed by Redfin, a Redfin agent will get a commission, but they'll give some of that commission to the buyer.
It reminds me of a company that I don't know if they're still around. When they were the ones that first started that employee model. I remember when I was exploring brokerages at the time, earlier on in my career, Zip Realty. So they're, I don't. You remember them, right? So their agents are W-2, and I remember sitting with someone, a recruiter, and they give you a breakdown, and I kind of I was taken aback when I looked at, okay, I'm a W-2, there's my taxes and all that other stuff, and then in there is a mandatory rebate of my commission to the buyer, and I'm like, so I don't even get to decide how much. It's already pre-negotiated in my contract as a W-2 employee of how much of my own commission gets sent back to the buyer. I'm all for helping clients. I would like it to be at my own discretion, though.
Yeah. I think in response to how it's affecting the market, I don't think they can take over real estate like totally. I think as time goes on, more parts of it gets implemented into,
I don't know how many baby boomers are going to be shopping online and wanting to sell their own home.
Yeah, I actually I was really thinking of some analogies last night. Like, what could I think of that where technology has displaced something? And I feel like the best example is a locksmith, or how like back in the day you would take our key when you were a little kid, you take your little key to like Ace or a hardware store and you get it cut because you lost your key or your parents were making you a copy.
Right.
Who's doing that anymore? I mean, everybody's probably going to Home Depot or Lowe's to that little kiosk, and they're good. But you have to think of it on a scale. Like, how many people are getting keys made every day or needs an extra spare key? you
True.
can't, like, something like that can't be duplicated on a scale of real estate. Like, you can't totally get rid of a realtor. Not everybody's gonna want to go online and use an online brokerage, a ghost company, to want to sell a home. And
Absolutely.
I mean, there's companies out there that use, employed agents, but then again, when you're getting into a sticky or messy situation, how far are they willing to go
How
to
far
really help
are
you
they
and give you that full
willing
service?
and experience to deal with
Yeah.
some of the transactions that you and I have experienced in working with clients?
And I
Uh,
think the industry's response to this movement with this low fee, model is, I think you're going to see a lot of consolidated brokerages getting bought out or merging together,
mm,
consolidating their resources and their money, and investing more in marketing online. Because this is one brokerage out in Rosemead. I think it's called Remax Titanium. And if you
mhm.
look up the broker. His name is Rudy Kasuma. Um, I met this guy at a Craig Proctor event, and what their response has been, they've employed this massive like team model where he's like the lead, like team leader, and everybody
Mhm.
kind of does the transactions through him. But they invest a lot of money in marketing. They're capturing their own seller and buyer leads, and they're trying to work within their own brokerage for all their deals. And then they're making agents negotiate their own commission. So if you ever come across this, listing of that broker, it's very interesting. And
We're familiar with,
such,
yeah, we're familiar with Craig Proctor and that model, and yeah, the lead generation. I wanted to bring on, so Whitney Payne, she says relationships between people cannot be replaced. Real estate is a relationship
yeah,
business. Whitney Payne, also realtor partner out in New York. Thanks for chiming in. Absolutely. And this is what we should be reminded. And this is why I said real estate, this is a contact sport.
yeah, yeah,
Are you kidding me? I love this business. This is such a contact sport. And this is why when we talk about those technology models, yes, I mean we're it's nothing new. I think we as the younger generation that are coming in and we're seeing the technology that we're bringing, and people assume that our generation actually wants to do everything online, but no, statistically it has shown that our demographic prefers to sit face to face with
yeah.
someone when it comes to large purchases such as real estate investing.
Because even with cars, I mean, you got like websites like AutoNation and Car
Yeah,
Trader and all that, but you still have to go to the where the cars, excuse me, to where the car is located. You still got to talk to a salesman and buy it.
still have to connect with a human being, people.
Yeah, it's not like Matrix where you can swipe through a bunch of cars or ammunition and say, "Oh, I want that," and it gets delivered by Amazon. I mean, it doesn't
Right.
really work like that.
Right. This, so we have definitely left a digital imprint in time over having this discussion. 10
Yeah,
years from now, we'll go ahead and reflect on on season 2, Ep.7,
yeah,
where we were talking about online brokerages and full service business models. Because everyone's trying to get rid of brick and mortar. But me personally, I actually like that my clients can walk in our office and know that we're here. That
hmm,
for me is a good feeling.
yeah.
I especially because we've had people within our farm and advertising that they come and bring their paperwork. They can walk in and bring paperwork and walk in and say, I need help,
You
right?
can't replace, celebrating somebody closing on a house, like giving them a bottle of champagne or a card or a gift. You can't replace taking somebody out to lunch or being invited to somebody's barbecue. Like, I don't think you can replicate that through those business models.
Exactly. Wendy says we need humans to execute each of the 12 steps to successfully complete a real estate transaction. Absolutely. I mean, on all aspects. And guess what? You know what? As we talked about the listing agent being the employer of the industry, they're also the ones that is employing the escrow company, the title officer. We're all needed and integral where we have vendors and affiliates to do inspections and repairs.
Yeah.
There's so many people that is connected integrally to this industry, and it is a $1.3 trillion industry annually.
Yeah, I mean, if these business models take over, then there's a lot of people that stand to lose out of it. So it's something that
Absolutely.
should be protected and valued.
I love that. I think, you know what, and that's a great place to end. It is something to be valued and protected. We're on with Angelo Dickens, Realtor Partner at Remax Realty. Angelo, any last remarks? I know I said that before,
No,
but
no.
I just really appreciated building with you, and it also allowed other people to come in and chime in and just kind of connect with the discussion that we're having with what we're seeing happen in our industry. And again, I'm going to be peeking through for that 4% next time around. I'll submit my offer in 5 hours
Yeah.
instead of 6 next time.
You know, my last closing remarks is real recognizes real. So I recognize you real, you know, you're a real person. Like for you to be able to put an offer in, not to get accepted, and us first to have a 30-minute conversation that same day, and now I'm on your show, that shows what type of person you are. And we definitely had a nice rapport and click at, you know, from the very beginning, because how many people get invited to go talk on a podcast with somebody that they even accept your offer? You know what I mean?
Well said, compliment received. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Because I know, guess what? If not that one, maybe the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And guess what? Next time it'll be me, right?
Yeah.
It might be one of my listings.
Yeah.
And you may have a buyer. And that's what we need to recognize in this industry. Really appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed our conversation. And for those of you who are new to our show, remember, or I shouldn't say remember, do know that Ready Set Real Estate supports our real estate focused nonprofit for the youth. We teach the next to fix the now. Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation. Please check us out. Consider donating, empowering our next generation to learn real estate literacy careers and help them come up in generational wealth. Realestate100youth.org. Angelo,
Yep.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. Be sure to connect with Angelo. He's on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. He's at Abba_Estates. Just check out Abba Estates. And he does a lot of information on credit building and I believe investing through business and EIN and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he's also a great resource for that as well. Just wanted to make sure you know that he's an extension of me and vice versa. Thank you again, Angelo. Really appreciate you. You guys, we are out and we'll see you next week on Ready, Set, Real Estate.